Welcome to Vsb News Online for Thursday, April 30th. I'm Peter Kitzel. Assistant Auditor General Charlene Martin told the Public Accounts Committee this afternoon that the press release issued over the Port Royal renovation project had been wrong to state that a government minister had been on the Port Royal board when a major contract was signed involving his firm. In fact, the man in question, PLP parliamentarian Zane De Silva, did not become a minister until later. Today's hearing heard from former chairman Bob Wilson and Wendell Brown that project manager Daniel Lamont put the excavation contract out to tender, and only Mr. De Silva's firm, Island Construction, replied. Under questioning, both men said that the so-called missing $4.4 million had been spent on covering huge losses on 2 of the 3 golf courses under their control. They left the clear impression that Premier Dr. Hewitt Brown's obsession over making Port Royal fit for the PGA Grand Slam had thrown all of the original costings out of whack. However, PAC member Wayne Ferbert claimed that the much smaller Belmont course had cost $15 million to build while under much less pressure. A labor disputes tribunal appointed by government in February to settle a labor dispute involving the January walkout and march on cabinet by members of 5 major unions has ruled that there was no labor dispute for it to consider. The tribunal, made up of Chen Foley, Peter Sanderson, and Dr. Michael Bradshaw, criticizes the level of acrimony that exists in labor relations, but said it was never made clear what dispute actually existed. Vsb News' Brian Darby has the decision.
The tribunal conclusion reads as follows. The decision we have come to is not one that we have arrived at lightly. The level of acrimony which is publicly demonstrated far too frequently by all sides in this dispute is unfortunate and ought to be tempered. In reaching our conclusion, the tribunal has wrestled with whether there is some added value that we might offer the parties given the extent to which their relationship is strained. We note that the Chief Justice has offered the possibility of a tribunal might adopt the role of ad hoc mediator and provide assistance to the parties in reaching a new agreement, be it a CBA or an agreement with regard to furlough days. However, mediation generally works better when all sides are open to mediation, and given the scale of this particular dispute, it might be that it would require intensive specialized mediation, which would be beyond the scope of the tribunal to provide. Ultimately, even in order to provide ad hoc mediation, our jurisdiction must first be established by the existence of a labor dispute, and we must have jurisdiction to resolve that dispute, and not otherwise would preclude us from doing so. Despite our desire to be of assistance to the parties in some capacity and to assist them in managing their relationship, we are constrained to conclude that outside of the Supreme Court proceedings, there is no labor dispute for determination that we have jurisdiction to hear. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
Home Affairs Minister Michael Fay responded this evening to the tribunal decision by saying there was still an issue before the Supreme Court involving the obtaining of a permanent injunction to prevent BTUC member unions from activities that are unlawful under the Labor Acts. The government, he said, was seeking to ensure the laws of Bermuda are followed before industrial action is taken. When the municipal elections numbers are tallied in St. George's on the evening of May 7th, Deputy Mayor Quinnell Francis is confident she will be elected and thus become the 3rd female mayor of St. George. At that time, she tells Charles Webb, she will put her programs in place for the revitalization of the old town.
I will be able to pull out the strategic plan that we've put in place over the past 6 months, and we have 3 goals: economic revival, customer satisfaction, and infrastructure improvements. So our economic revival will be centered around making sure that our town gets some sort of economic revival in the town. So working on getting the marina finalized, moved on, so that we can see that. I know that's something that's been talked about for the past 4 years, and it's now time to actually see something in action rather than just hearing about it. And I know that Once we get that sorted, we would see more revenue coming in on our town. We have more visitors in our town, and we'll be able to attract all types of visitors, because you have the luxury yachts that will want to, come, and we'll be able to have the facilities that they're used to, rather than just having a dock.
Well, you talk about attracting the luxury yachts, but is that plan also inclusive of the America's Cup?
Yes, for sure. Actually, I've been speaking with Mr. Source from Bermuda Yacht Service, who's actually working quite well with the America's Cup team. And we all know that there's going to be many visiting luxury yachts and small yachts. And throughout the whole island, we're going to be needing to accommodate these. And St. George's is just one place that we should be able to accommodate quite a few of them.
Member of Parliament for Pembroke Central, Walton Brown, charged today that Bermuda Stone has been removed from the site of the Blackwatch Pass roundabout without authorization. He said, after receiving reports that the stone, which was excavated from the wall bordering Government House, he discovered that Thomas Gleeson had allegedly removed most of the stone on Sunday evening, and that when he returned on Monday for the remainder, he was asked by Works and Engineering staff who had given him permission. He is said to have replied, Minister Cannonier. MP Walton Brown is calling for an investigation and is asking Works Minister Craig Cannonier if he had in fact granted permission to Mr. Gleeson, and if so, was it done in accordance with government financial instructions, and what fee was paid for the stone. And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
They may be an integral part of Bermuda's past, but forts are going to play an important role in the revival of St. George's as a key player in Bermuda's on-island tourism activities. All that is needed now, according to Ray Lambert, Economic Development Officer of St. George's Bermuda Economic Development Corporation, is someone to oversee the Forts initiative.
Bermuda has some of the best maintained forts in the world, and basically people know that, but the story of the forts often aren't told as well as they could be or should be. So we've actually moved to developing a forts tour that we did with the World Heritage Site Committee, and that tour was run over the course of the winter, which is now known as the Arts and Culture season, and we ran it as a trial run to prove that it could be successful, and it was. It was a very successful tour that we felt if it could work in the winter, then it could be a tremendous business opportunity to someone in the season, the primary season. And visitors are intrigued about our forts. They want to know more about the forts, and obviously the links to America and the UK are all there. So for us, it was really showing the tour and presenting the opportunity, because we think not just the forts but tours in general are a good thing for the World Heritage Site.
So how would these tours work?
Well, the one that we actually done was a tour which started in the town square. It went to the three primary forts in St. George's, which is Gates Fort, Alexandra Battery, and then Fort St. Catherine. It was one that we did on the train, but it can be done on any form of minibus or bus. So we're looking for an operator that has obviously a vehicle, a guide, and basically doing a loop that we think is one that was quite successful. We were doing it for 90 minutes. We do have basic RFP that we've put out, which kind of gets into more details. But the point is, at the end of the day, those details aren't there to be stumbling blocks. I mean, we've done it, so these are the suggestions that we've come up with. but we're leaving it up to the tour operator to fine-tune it and make it work best for them.
Tomorrow, he tells how the plan for our forts represent a wake-up call for the old town. It takes 300 people to supply the staff that manages Bermuda's correctional institutions, and they range from prison officers to psychiatrists. Happily for the community, they have bonded into a proactive team, and next week, for the second year in a row, they will be celebrating Corrections Week with a raft of social events for themselves and their families. Co-organizer Yvette Brown spoke to Vsb News' Brian Darby about the job done by her colleagues.
This is the second time that we'll be actually celebrating Corrections Week. Historically, Corrections Week was started in 1984 in the U.S., and the Commissioner of Corrections, Lieutenant Colonel Lam, has elected to allow us staff to celebrate our jobs here. As you are aware, the working in corrections is actually a thankless job. You don't necessarily hear the public going out and celebrating correction officers doing work. However, corrections, basically what we do, it is a profession, and it's an honorable job that we do in order to return the inmates back to the community as productive citizens. The Premier said the other day that the recidivism rate has dropped tremendously, and we can't take all the credit, but certainly we will do so. Some of that is also as a result of alternatives to incarceration. We have a lot of good staff that work in corrections, primarily providing services to inmates as well as providing services to the community. Certainly working in corrections could be very stressful at times. It could be very dangerous at times. And then on the flip side of it, we have the good things that happen in corrections. For example, when we don't see an inmate coming back to prison for years, that means that we've done something correct. But that also means that our network partners as well as community has done something correct. That's a big part of our job, is to be able to motivate individuals that's in our charge to be able to look at different alternatives, not always looking at quick fixes, in other words. So that's one of our primary duties, not just for the helping profession staff, but also correction officers. We work as a team, and so they're also trained to use motivational interviewing skills as well to help officers to move from one aspect as well as want to change their lives.
Next month's opening of Marcus's restaurant in the Hamilton Princess is set to be a milestone in dining in Bermuda. This according to executive chef Leonardo Mariano, who outlines in delicious detail the exciting fare diners can anticipate when the new restaurant opens its doors.
I would love our guests to come and have fun and enjoy the food, enjoy the drink, and enjoy the company, as well as the view and the new ambiance and the open kitchen, and enjoy all those aspects, and the art and the music, and kind of tie in what we do at Red Rooster in Harlem into a little bit of the island spirit.
Now, will there be any sort of featured dishes?
Well, we have, off of our pop-up menu from last year, we bring back some classics, like the fish chowder bites with the rum aioli, which was a favorite. Also, we have the jerk pork belly with the quail egg and the fava bean stew, which is probably my favorite dish that's going on the menu and returning to the menu.
Now, we have a lot of vegetarians. Will there be something on the menu for them?
Yes. So we have one dish which we're going to feature on the opening menu is the grilled Bermuda carrots with the black lentil ragu and whipped tofu. And then we'll also be tying in some vegetarian specials to our menu.
I remember Marcus said he was going to inculcate some of the Bermudian, like vegetables and fish. Is that going to be still the case?
So I think one of my favorite parts about being a chef in Bermuda is that we have amazing fish coming out of the water, and it was probably the most exciting part of the pop-up last year was being able to cut fresh fish, serve fresh fish, and all this year I've been here tying in with Tom Watson and Carlos Amaral and some of the local farmers to have that going on the menu as much as possible. So I think that's going to be two of the fun elements that Bermuda offers us, as their fish and their vegetables. We will have a 30-day aged ribeye on the menu that's shareable for two. And also, when lobster season is going on in Bermuda, we'll be featuring their lobster. And when it's not, we'll be bringing in some Maine lobster. And we have a beautiful lobster cocktail that will go on the menu to open.
So we can start salivating now, can we?
If that's what you want to do, yeah, why not?
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
A total of $50,000 was shared among 12 Bermuda sports governing bodies for young athletes. Youngsters involved in equestrian, track and field, baseball, cycling, squash, cricket, fencing, triathlon, basketball, hockey, football, and sailing all took center stage at the Bermuda Underwater Exploration Institute as the 2015 National Junior Athlete Sponsorship Program awards were handed out. In attendance to present the athletes, their families, and sporting representatives was the Minister of Community, Cultural, and Sport, Patricia Gordon-Pemplin.
The National Junior Scholarships Awards is in its 22nd year. The objective of this program is to provide financial support to young Bermudian athletes and to assist them in their pursuit of athletic and academic excellence. To date, more than $850,000 has been awarded to approximately 151 young athletes. Our recipients today will join an illustrious group of past awardees, and I will name a few: Roy Allen Birch, Zinzi Swan, Gavin Manders, Stephen Kelly, Fahima Kyra Straters, and Tyler Butterfield. Since my appointment as Minister of Community, Culture and Sport, I have had the pleasure to meet many of the athletes who are being awarded today. I can attest to the fact that they are dedicated and committed young sportsmen and women. Their exuberance and their desire to succeed is infectious.
On Friday, April 24th, VSB Sports reported that the Japanese were about to join the America's Cup competition with the assistance of champions Orco Team USA. Today confirms that a Japanese challenger has been confirmed for the next America's Cup yachting regatta in 2017 in Bermuda. SoftBank Corporations has joined with the Kenzaya Yacht Club as SoftBank Team Japan, and they will also compete in this year's America's Cup World Series events. Former Team New Zealand skipper Dean Barker has been linked with the Japanese challenge, although no details have been released as who will helm or crew the boat. Holders Orco Team USA are providing a base level of technical assistance to the Japanese syndicate, and America's Cup Commercial Commissioner Harvey Schiller says the team is a very competitive addition. He is quoted as saying the Japanese challenge will increase the interest in the America's Cup across Asia, which is good news for all our teams and partners. Meanwhile, Wednesday night sailing series dominated the Hamilton Harbor last evening with 27 boats going to the start line. Nasty Madison crossed the line first with a time of 109.47 and with the corrected time of 116.08, so them finished first on the night. Crossfire was the second boat to cross the line, clocking a time of 114.29 and with a corrected time of 121.42, so them finished second on the night. The third boat to cross the line was Smokin', and with the corrected time of 121.47, saw them finish third on the night. Solena 2 was fourth on the night with a corrected time of 124.23 after clocking a time of 140.59. Man of War rounded out the top five finishers with a corrected time of 125.25 after clocking a time of 132.24. If you are a female with talent, or you know a female with talent, well, a new women's professional sports school has been formed by David Bascom.
The school is designed to, one, is help the participation of young women in sports. We are going to expand to different sports. Our first thing we're focusing on right now is soccer. for the first year, 2015. We will start it up in August the 29th and the 30th. After that, we're going to go into different sports, tennis. And the only way tennis, golf, swimming, and I would only go into those areas based on one, collaboration with the groups that's going on now, and also with the expansion of what we have in the U.S. For instance, is that I am connected with the Michael Phelps Foundation. This means is that I have to find a way to connect with swimming here, connected with the NFL, so trying to connect with its rugby. But I'm very excited about it. When you got John Barry Newsom, who's going to be the head of operations, you got Nikita Deal, who's the technical director, you got Cindy, Simmons Bean, who's in charge of resource development, Jakisha. We've got a great staff, and I'm excited about it because it's not just a game, it's not just a sport. We got 9 workshops they're going to be going through, mandatory for the parents and the players, and this is all females. I think this is I'm excited about this process. The ages is going to run from 4 years old straight to 23.
St. George's Preparatory School won the Bermuda School Sports Federation's primary school boys A hockey tournament at the National Sports Center yesterday in convincing fashion after defeating Summersfield Academy 4-1 in the final. Auday Todd and Ethan Utterbridge scored 2 goals each for the St. George's Preparatory School, while Summersfield Academy got a consolation goal from Mike Costello. St. George's had earlier defeated Francis Patton 3-0 in their semifinal, while Summersfield reached the final after defeating Warwick Academy 2-0. Soltis Grammar School defeated Summersfield Academy 1-0 in the boys' B Division final. Jonah Ferrara scored a late goal in the match to give his team the victory. Tyler Smith and her ASA college women's tennis teammates closed out their regular season in dominating fashion, defeating NCAA Division III team Arcadia University 9-0. Smith and Mingxing Du defeated Ciara Blair and Jennifer Kwam in the number 2 doubles position 8-0. Smith then moved back to her number 1 singles position and defeated Villa Soya in straight sets 6-love. 6-love. Rayshawn Birch competed in the Vera de la Frontera International Horse Jumping event on the Sunshine Tour in Spain. Birch competed in the 1.10 meter table A class riding Stella La Vista, and the pair finished 28th. Birch saved his best performance for last on the day when he and Superhal finished 3rd in the 1.35 meter table A class. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Friday, May the 1st. There will be sunny periods with a few morning showers. Winds will be southerly and moderate, veering west-southwesterly by dawn, occasionally increasing moderate to strong during the day, backing southwesterly, moderate to strong overnight. We are expecting a high near 73 degrees Fahrenheit and a low near 66 Fahrenheit. This weather forecast is the courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching Vsb News Online for Thursday, April 30th. I'm Peter Cattell.